And also, NSYNC was hitting big at this time. They were like, everyone was wearing big jeans.
Everybody had like blonde highlights. There's one of the guys had like definitely dyed blonde hair, but like also a Van Dyke goatee.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just a weird time for fashion because you had the grunge, you had the kind of the hip hop element, then you had the skater kids, which were much more prevalent back in the day. So
100%.
Yeah, and
98, I rocked a lot of cut off jean shorts.
Jean shorts were big. I mean, so yeah, I think there was just it was old meets new.
Yeah.
But a lot of the old wasn't that old, and a lot of the new was really new. So it wasn't, yeah, you're right. There was an interesting change. Well, Matrix a year later probably helped change stuff.
Right. The whole Matrix
Fight
became
Club.
a fashion trend.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Mark, I'm going to say this, because two more things that I think are 98 exclusive only. The internet existed, but it was not in every home, and it was not bombarded with every piece of information you'd ever want in your life.
You'd have to wait to go check out the Stargate website.
Right. Oh, Stargate. We need to talk about Stargate. Okay, but there are some things that were kind of mysterious and now aren't because everybody knows about them. But Adam, between grades 11 and 12, partying all summer long, had no idea how to start a big rig truck up. And there's a scene that goes on, in my mind, far too long, of Swayze just flicking switches in the cab of a truck.
And I love that scene. Because
it's an incredible scene.
Yes.
But I don't think it would exist today in a movie because people are like, yeah, it's just they're making this look more complicated than it is. That's actually not how you start a big rig, X, Y, and Z. But at that moment, I was just like, this is incredible. I was getting pumped up from it.
It was beautiful. Remember when he plugged in everything into the back? The fuel line, the brake line, the air brakes.
I feel like if you were a truck driver, this was your cliffhanger if you were a mountain climber.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Or your hard rain if you were into canoeing.
Right. If you're an avid canoeer, as all Canadians are, Hard Rain was your movie.
No, but I'm telling you, we were watching that, and it was impressive. And then there was a good gag, or he didn't start it. And Randy Travis. I gotta tell you, Randy Travis is Earl in this movie.
Kills it.
He is so okay. Sometimes they're trained actors, right? Yeah. But then there's people that just have a good natural charisma to them, and that was Travis in this movie. I liked him a lot.
So I also say I think he had the best acting moment in the entire movie when he was singing badly.
Oh yeah, because he had to act.
He had to act because as a musician, it's hard to intentionally do something badly when all your life you've been trying to get better at something. So for him to be able to do it badly like that was great acting.
That's like trying to not know what you're talking about when it comes to cliffhanger.
Right. Exactly. It's like me not understanding the intricacies of cliffhanger based on a concept. Mark, the last thing that was very 1998 for me was, I think it was the last year where you could just call the FBI and say, Hello. This the FBI?
Hello, FBI.
I want to know who's in charge of the mission against the truck drivers. Put me in charge with that guy. Because that's what Swayze does. He called this the FBI? Yes. I'd like to know who's doing the truck run deal. Get me in charge of that officer. Someone died named Sonny. I don't know his last name. Just connect me.
Atlanta office, he should have said.
Atlanta office. Like, it's so crazy. But I remember watching it in 98, and that didn't faze me. I'm like, yeah, I guess you call the FBI. That's just kind of what you do.
Yeah. I remember hearing that, yeah, FBI. I mean, there's a lot of FBI out there.
Yeah. They're so, like, if I got a hold of the FBI right now and I was like, oh, if you could connect me with the officer in charge of the drug ring investigation, they've got to have like 45 investigations going on.
Yeah, I'm Pat McClunky here. You were talking about the drug ring? Yeah.
And then she goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "I prefer not to say."
Yeah.
So, anyways, those are my time-specific observations.
Okay, the biggest question I have.
Yeah.
Meatloaf is a lot of fun in this movie, right? Red.
He is chewing the scenery.
I mean, he's doing. I was trying to figure out what double chew the scenery is. I mean, he ate the scenery.
Chewing the cud.
Yeah, he was chewing the cud. Yeah, he's that person that can chew one piece of gum for 3 hours, smacking it the whole time. That's what he was doing. So immediately when Jack Cruz hits the road, Meatloaf tries to hijack the truck. Why didn't he just leave the guns out? Why didn't he just take the guns out, put those boxes in, and then just leave the truck alone?
Right.
Because they know it's Red's people immediately. He doesn't even hire mercenaries.
No, they recognize him and call them by name. Like, well, that's Steve and Tim.
Yeah, they know it. So it's, you're Barracuda, right? And you get Carol Cruiser. Carol gets 30 yards down the street, and then your people try to hijack her. It's just...
Well, and here's the other thing. Why put the guns in there at all? Just give him an empty decoy truck.
Yeah, just give a decoy truck. But maybe put the wood in there.
Yeah, you put the crates in there.
Yeah, maybe leave the guns on top, like 4 guns, so that when you open it, you're like, oh, wow, there's guns.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense to load up the guns and immediately try to rob them.
No, it doesn't make any sense. That to me, I was like, what's going on here?
But I still love it.
Again, Meatloaf is so enjoyable to watch.
Those coupons
at what was it, for luncheon to meet at the Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, he wanted 50 cents off on the thing, and he had the whole coupon collection. That was fun. It was also Junior. Junior's my favorite character. There's a scene where Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze gets out of prison. He gets a job as a mechanic, but he learns that during his time away, which he fell asleep and killed some people when he was driving.
Vehicular
manslaughter. So he gets back and he realizes that since he was in prison, his wife got her hours cut, so their house is going to be foreclosed and they owe $9,000. Luckily enough, earlier in the day, he got offered $10,000 and to get his license back at work.
Right.
So she's a little bummed out about it, but he immediately takes it. And that's very refreshing for me. There's no hemming and hawing. Like, no, you're not doing this. He just leaves. And that's it. And then later on, she's totally cool with him. So he takes his 10 grand, he goes to Atlanta, and he shows up at Meatloaf's place. Meatloaf chastises Randy Travis, a guy named Earl, for not bringing his coupons. And then he meets this guy, Junior. They're like, hey, this is a truck you're going to drive. Jack Cruz says, nah, that's Red. I want something. I'm not Mustang Sally. I'm Jack Cruz.
I don't need a flashy rig. I need something that'll blend in.
Give me something different. So this guy, Junior, jumps down. And so I guess he's making like a little gun symbol with his hand, so thumb up, pointer finger out. He puts it up to his chest. Down. He puts it to his chest and points. And then after he points, he looks a direction. It's a kooky, weird, wonderful character bit in this movie.
Yeah.
That's my number one scene. And then he opens up a door later on for Jack Cruz. And he just opens it backwards. Like he's backwards and he opens it not looking towards him. It's just kooky little stuff. And I like Junior a lot.
What was the line that Meatloaf said to him when he was like, do you have any kids? And then Junior was like, well, maybe if I meet the right woman. And then Meatloaf said something and it was hilarious.
Yeah. He really, okay. What did he say? Oh yeah, maybe one day. Oh no, he's like, you're too stupid to have kids. Something like that.
Yeah. It was a real derogatory toward Junior.
Yeah, let's see. Foreclosure for Sunday Winn-Dixie meet, Junior door open, drive tractor home, toilet, 5-gallon. That's a 5-gallon flush toilet. That's a lot.
It's a lot of water.
Now, he gets the job, right? From Cutler. Because he can drive an ice truck through hell on the 4th of July. Now, does that mean, okay, we have no way of knowing. Presumably, hell is hot. Yeah. From what we've been told, hell is hot.
Yeah, it is.
From what we've seen in pop culture, right? Heat.
Yeah.
This is what you think.
From what we can tell, hell would be a hot place.
Yeah. Are they saying that it's particularly hot in July? And does that mean hell is on this side of the hemisphere? Because in other, times, July could mean winter.
Yeah, I think it's well known that July is the hottest month in hell.
Yeah. But wait, so it's never cold there. It's just really hot in July?
It's never cold. It's just always hot.
But July is especially the hottest.
Especially. Yeah, no, that's just fact.
So it's like hell month in hell. Now,
and driving an ice truck would be the hardest thing to do.
But
through there.
So he can. Okay, so you drive an ice truck. Is he just driving really fast? Because his driving's not going to keep that ice from melting.
So again, there was about 7 times where someone remember in Roadhouse when they see Dalton and like, I thought you'd be bigger, was like his thing.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, it was like, well, you sure can drive. Like they're always surprised that he can drive.
That would get annoying.
His driving just seems to be a lot of in a straight line.
It's a truck.
To the point where he says, like, you got to know when to downshift and brake, and he gives this, like, list. And then later on, he's like, remember that stuff I told you about downshifting? Forget it. Because he just drove a truck off the road. So I don't know, even at the end, like, when he drove through that building with Meatloaf drove through a wall and blew up, and he just drove straight. But I don't know if it was, like, great driving. He was just driving straight.
I would hire the semi-driver from Furious 7 who's driving that large vehicle that ends up falling off the cliff. But it's not his fault. This is a guy who's maintaining a fast speed on a cliffs on a you know what I mean? Like, I would hire that guy. And this one, sure. Swayze just drives it, and he just drives in a straight line. Because trucks, I've never driven a semi. You're not going to be skylining it. You're not going to be like Brian in the fast things. Yes, you can drive a truck fast. Like, what, is Hell's Terrain bad?
I think it's pretty rocky down there. Lots of sulfur stones.
Oh, yeah. And turns. If it's Constantine Hell, it's constantly very blowy, right? It's very windy in Constantine Hell. The roads in Hell change on who you are. So if you're a guy who likes to drive straight and fast, it's very long and winding. And if you're a guy who likes to take a long winding drive, it's just a straight Autobahn run. I think it's your own personal roadway down there. So even against all odds, he could still drive it during the hottest month of July.
And get it there.
Last question, and I don't want to seem like I'm dunking on this movie, because I bought it. It's 90 minutes of pure joy.
It is great.
But watching a semi-truck drive in a straight line during a chase isn't the most exciting thing.
No, it's not.
In the world, right? It might be exciting if it's a bad truck driver, but not Jack Cruz.
Not Jack Cruz, who's just doing his bit. No, and so, but again, they suck you in. And again, in '98, it was still the era of, like, I want to watch something that I don't get to see every day. And big trucks doing stuff is something we didn't see every day.
Yeah.
But now we can just go online and put in Russian dash cams, and we see way better car accidents than we see in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, not wrong on that. Like, that's the reality of the world that we live in. Now, there's something else I wanted to mention, Mark.
Books on tape.
Books on tape. There's a moment where Melanie and Jack Cruz are getting romantic at the beginning of the movie, and they mention, like, oh, remember the night with the candles? And Jack Cruz goes downstairs and get what I can only imagine are emergency, like, hurricane candles. They're the least romantic candles I have ever seen in my entire life. And they're on top of the fridge where the foreclosure notices. That's where he finds it. But I was like, if I was to prepare a romantic evening for my wife, I would not choose those candles ever. Like, it was very jarring to me.
It's Jack Cruz, though, man. Jack
Cruz. When you're Swayze, any candles will do.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, as impromptu. They probably haven't done that in a while. Times are tough. They don't have a lot of money for unnecessary scented candles.
Like mortgages. They don't have enough money for the mortgage.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No. And so, yeah, it's something.
It's a moment. It's a moment.
But that's just an odd way to get him to the foreclosure note.
It is an odd device to go get the emergency candles. I feel like that was thought of on the day, and they just, whoever, like, the props guys were like, we don't have any candles here. We'll just get these inside of this emergency kit in someone's car.
What do we got?
Right? It's one step above little tea lights is what it is.
That's why I love this movie, though, because at the end, after dozens of people have been killed and just chaos, and Sonny is killed, and he has done some illegal activities, Jack Cruz. Avery comes up, played by Lorraine Toussaint, and she goes, you know what? Well, we talked to this person. After this, we'll expunge all your records. We'll get you the $10,000 that you can use to pay up your thing, and you don't have to worry about any criminal charges. Thank you, goodbye. I love it.
It wraps up so neatly.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, a lot of people died because of this run. Like, there was death because of this. But I mean, I think that's Meatloaf's fault, probably, for trying to steal a thing he just packed, which is weird. But that's what I like about it. You need candles? Just go find it. Wait, where's the letter? It's in there. I owe $9,000. Here's a job for $10,000.
Right?
I have a cell phone. There's a black dog in my car. I just love the convenience. It has no time for any extra fat on it whatsoever.
No, it's So I'll say